I'm ready for questions.
Well, the weather impacting the opening weekend, what kind of went into that, changing up the schedule there?
Well, first of all, we've had such good weather, and we've had such good weather when we've been traveling, so our luck ran out a little bit. Well, what we've done with Thursday is we've moved it to a single game and tried to keep it at the warmest part of the day. Our original start time was 2:30. We're going to hold that, but we're not going to play that game after because we think temperatures are going to drop. Looking at, since it's not a conference weekend, we moved off of Friday because the weather does not look great, and so we were able to save the other team some travel costs, and the weekend looks better, so we've condensed our schedule for the weekend.
And with the home opening weekend, just what's the excitement level with the team and with yourself? Is it always an exciting time of the year?
It's always great to be home. We've been on the road for 4 weekends. It felt nice just to even get on a bus and drive to Wichita last weekend after crisscrossing the country. I'm hopeful that by the weekend we have decent weather, and so the crowd can be out there and not wrapped up in blankets and drinking hot chocolate and just trying to get through it with us. So it's always nice. I always feel great when we have a pretty decent temperature where our fans can enjoy the game.
You guys are on track to, it seems like, break a single season home run hitting record. And it's not just a few girls, it's spread the wealth across the team. And what's that say about the power of the offense this team's been capable of early in the season?
Yeah, we don't try to hit home runs. I think that we work a lot on getting our swings off, being 100-100, hitting, we call it 3-4-5 in the zone. And they've done a nice job with that. And so I think that like you've said, I mean, we've got, I think Ava Cusack has 12, Jordy has 7, several have 3 or 4, and it's really up and down the lineup. And Hannah Kamazin got her first 2 back-to-back games this weekend. So I think of our everyday players, it's just the twin. Lauren's probably getting ribbed a little bit by her twin sister. That just she's the next one to hopefully get that ball over the fence.
If you just look at those first few weeks of the season, is there any area that you'd say this is what we need to improve at here going forward in the next few weeks?
Oh, Luke. I have a notebook. I'm known for my notebooks, and I just keep a running whatever week we're in. So last week it was week 4. Week 4, getting better. And so after every day, I come back to the hotel room and I just make a list. So there are a lot of things. For instance, just some little things. I think our defense is starting to shore up. I think when we were first out on dirt, we were able to be outside early, but we weren't on dirt early, and we played at the first 3 weekends we played on really fast dirt, and so the dirt with being fast dirt and top spin, ate us up a little bit. We've been able to close the gap on that. We're still, we have a lot of veteran players, but they're new playing together. So even learning each other's range, there have been more balls dropped between the infielders and the outfielders that we want to happen. But we're our outfield had Billy Andrews at shortstop for 4 years, so it's just getting to know each other's range and how people are communicating, and all of that's coming. So I think that's one thing. I think another thing is just when we're in a situation when we face some really good pitching, and I don't expect high-scoring games there, but you'd at least like to raise somebody's ERA. So if somebody's ERA is 1.5, if you could at least raise their ERA, you understand you're going to be in for a dogfight. You're probably not going to score 8 runs in that game, right? Unless something really happens. So I think that when we're facing good pitching, it's being able to scratch out a few more runs, and then I think Jordy has done a really excellent job on the mound, and we're just really trying to solidify who's coming in behind her and being able to string together good innings and good games consistently.
Rhonda, for fans that are going to see your team for the first time this weekend, what can you tell them that they're going to get to see?
Well, they're going to get to see a hungry team. I mean, this is a team that is really hungry to be good and to do well on all sides of the ball. I think that speaks to the fact our offense is taking it very personally to try to score as early and often as possible and try to support our pitchers and our defense. So I hope, and I know every fan, it doesn't matter what sport it is, they like to see offense, right? So if they can see some of that offensive output and then just seeing us be really solid and really dogged on the defensive side of the ball.
The impact that Eva's made off the bat this season. Did you expect that from her coming in, or how much of her talent has surprised you already?
No surprises. I think I spoke here on the preseason press conference that she's her own athlete. You know, never wanted to compare her to Billy. Billy's her own athlete. They're both extremely powerful athletes and extremely good athletes. I think what Ava has found in just being in our system is maybe even the freedom just to let her athleticism, showcase it a little bit more. I don't think she surprised herself either. But if you talk to her, she'll tell you she still wants to get better, and that's what I love about her.
Just looking at last week a little bit, the one-run win over Missouri, what does that mean to this team to be in a close game like that where you had to fight back and come back to win that one?
Yeah, we've had some close losses that haven't been, of course, on our side. And to win that game with offense was really important to play a really good quality team in Missouri. And, here's what I'm going to say about Missouri. They started out, I think, ranked as high as 12 in the poll, and then they fell out of the poll. But if you look at their strength of schedule, last time I looked, they had the #1 strength of schedule nationally, so they just never got a break. I think they're a really good team. I think they'll be back in the poll. They're still receiving votes. So to face a staff like that and be able to go back and forth, I mean, what I really appreciated about our team is we got down by 3 and we came roaring back, scored 5. We didn't waste any time. Missouri was fighting. We were fighting. I mean, I don't even know how many score changes or tied scores there were, but the fact that it just felt like we kept throwing punches and not being affected when they'd throw a punch back. And I told the team after that game, that's exactly what we needed. In fact, I actually called a timeout before the 7th inning started. And, Lori's like, what are you doing? You're burning our timeout because if something happens in the 7th and you need to talk to the team, you just burned your opportunity. I said, my gut was just talking to me. And I just told him at that moment, this is exactly what we've needed. This is exactly the position that we needed to be in. And let's go finish it. And, sometimes those talks make an impact. Sometimes they don't. I can't tell you if they did or not, but I can tell you that's what I was feeling in that moment that our team needed. And after the game, that's what I reiterated. And I even had some of our parents come up to me and say, that's exactly what we needed. We needed to win it with our offense against a really good team.
It's been a long time coming to get Jordy in that Nebraska jersey and play a lot for you guys. What has it been like for you to see her out there all over?
Not just see her out there, but, I get the privilege of calling the game with her, of her games, and it's been really wonderful to form that partnership with her and her catcher and myself, and just understanding the competitor that she is, understanding her game IQ, understanding how she sees the game. When we watch film together, how intricate she is with it. I mean, these are just things that don't show up in a stat column or people don't really recognize necessarily just on the surface. But it's also been wonderful to be able to showcase her as an athlete. I talked to her in the fall about putting her at first base, and at first she kind of giggled about it. She goes, well, my brother used to play first base, so that's really cool, and he's kind of my idol. And I said, no, I'm really serious. And so, she'd played some outfield before, but I really didn't want her in the outfield running around like the energy that it takes to play the outfield. And so to be able to see her showcase her talent defensively like that, but then also offensively, you can tell what she's doing. And she and I talk before every game day, if she's not going to pitch, just about the energy demands and how she's feeling, because that's really important, because obviously her the greatest asset that she can give us is what she does in the circle. But make no mistake that she's such a dynamic player that she impacts the game in every way.
You knew she could hit, but did you see a better than 500 batting average through 20 games coming from her?
Well, I just watched her in high school. I mean, she was the best hitter on a very good team. And I think she had 22 home runs her senior season. And so I guess, and just knowing the competitor that she is and the kind of athlete that she is, nothing really surprises me about her. And even when she hit that 3-run home run against Missouri, I just saw a look in her eye. I didn't know it was going to go out, but, and we picked the changeup, and one of our players, Malia Tomes, who's excellent at picking changeups, yelled sit, and Jordy just hung on to that thing. I mean, it takes a real athlete. It's one thing if you hear that it's coming. It's another thing to make that adjustment, hold your timing, get your extension through the ball, and then she takes it yard. I mean, that's a lot of athleticism right there.
Hey, on Sunday, she got roughed up a little bit. Came back great in the seventh. Was there anything just kind of off that day, or was it just a case of Missouri's bats finally coming alive in a long time?
You know, I think every pitcher is going to have moments, right? And so I think that's a one-off kind of thing for her. I will tell you the wind was blowing out and it was swirling, and so there were a lot of home runs that day. There was obviously a no-doubter by Walker in that first inning. Jordy's was a no-doubter, but we were just talking earlier, I think there were probably 2 or 3 others that may have stayed in the yard. They started out as line drives, and the way the wind was flying. But yeah, it was one pitch that was getting hit squared up more than another, so we just in the late innings, we just went away from that one pitch. And it's one of her best pitches, but some days you feel certain pitches more than others. Okay, back to regular programming with football.